So anyway, all right. I guess we'll get started here. I think
All
it's
right.
time. Yeah. Okay. So if you got a book, we're on page 33, and we still in the chapter
The 40.
40 without hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at the top of page 33, the end of spiritual ranking. So hierarchy thrives where separation is assumed. And if God is distant, then access must be mediated. So if access is mediated, then positions matter. Titles, ordination, and rank become substitutes for intimacy. But when union is revealed, hierarchy collapses. Jesus explicitly rejected hierarchical authority among his followers. It shall not be so among you. That's in Matthew. So in the kingdom, greatness is not elevation, it is availability. And leadership is not control, it is service. And authority is not power over, it is life flowing through. That's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. You know, in our podcast we said a few things, so like maybe we could share some testimonies, because really, you know, Mark has a testimony. I have one that mine happened yesterday. His happened today, right? Yeah. And
No, mine actually happened Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Okay.
But I haven't stopped thinking about it because it just so
right, yeah.
impacted me. Yeah.
And it's all because, you know, we're not trying to build ourselves up, guys, okay? But we all walking around this planet aware, total awareness of what we possess and what we carry. And then when we encounter a person or we walk into a room, like with Mark's job, Mark goes to people's homes. So when Mark walks into somebody's home, not to puff Mark up, but it's the same as if God walked in the home.
I never leave home without it.
Yeah, right. And it's not to say, I'm not trying to put us on the same level with God, but we carry him, right? We're his temple, so wherever we go, he goes. You know, I know the saying is wherever he goes, we go, but in reality, wherever we go, he's going, okay? He's there, wherever we go. Whatever situation you put yourself in, God's there with you, okay? Whether the situation is good or bad, he don't leave. He's there for everything, all right? So in Mark's case, when he goes on a job and he walks in somebody's house, well, Mark's already aware. Mark's mentality, his spiritual awareness, thinking in the spiritual realm is that this has already been set up since before the foundations of the world. I know I'm hooked up with this company and I'm going here, but this was been ordained to be in my life since the beginning, you know? So yeah. Mark has that mindset when he goes into someone's house. So he's going there not just to do his job, but also to
release the life flow. Releasing the spirit.
Yeah. You know, because, yeah, people are dependent on him because he's representing the medical field when he gets there. But we all know there's something even greater than that. And he knows it in his job. And he knows that that's going to be authority over the medical advice he's got to give him. Even though some of the medical advice they need and is good, but there's always the greater. It's always the invisible realm that's greater than the visible realm. The invisible is the eternal that's going to change the temporal, which are the facts.
That's right.
And so, you can give the testimony.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Well, we all know that there's natural knowledge, and knowledge is fine, but it's just knowledge. But now, knowledge with life is a whole nother story, right? And so we do know the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was in the same place the tree of life was, right? So, and this is all about flowing in the spirit, releasing love, right? So you want me to do the one with the lady?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. So, and I'll just do it real quick. because we don't want to take up a lot of time. But anyway, this lady had a broken hip, a broken knee, a broken ankle. She fell and all that kind of stuff. About 90 years old, whatever. And she's in a recliner, can't really move that much. And so, you know, I'm asking her questions, and she just goes, ow! And I'm like, what? Well, she's feeling like stabbing pain. You know, her nerves, everything's jumping, and she's in a lot of pain. And in so many, you know, words, whatever, I went and laid my hands on her, and then, you know, all the pain went away. She's moving, and the family and her are freaking out. And she stops in the middle of that. Well, right after that, then the family came, and they're all doing their thing. And they got quiet, and twice she looked at me with her finger and said, that was my third time seeing her. She says, why did you wait so long? This is your third time. You knew what was going on. You knew I was in pain. Why did you wait so long?
I thought that was pretty cool. You know?
It was. It's a good time.
It stopped me. Look, I'm a man of very many words. God has blessed me with a microphone mouth. Okay? And I was quiet.
Yeah.
What did you tell her?
What do you know?
We're still debating what I said. I barely remember getting, it was all cloudy after that.
You said that, Glenn.
No, Aaron.
Aaron, oh, okay.
And we elaborated on that a little bit. I don't want to take up a lot of time. We elaborated a lot on that on the podcast. But for the sake of time.
So, I mean, so there's, you know, an example of releasing the kingdom, right? Okay? And so, now, even though she wanted to know why you didn't do it the first time, it wasn't like Mark went there the first time and not aware of it. You know, under his job, I mean, he's got to watch. You know, so he's got to feel people out sometimes. You know what I mean? Because you start doing all that, and they call in. They can make a complaint.
Sure,
Have you had that happen to you before?
Never.
No.
The goodness of God. The goodness of God is always. Now, if I went with knowledge and did it religiously, I'd probably have all kinds of complaints.
Right, yeah.
But every time Jesus walks in a room, I've never had a complaint yet.
Yeah. So he's sharing this on the podcast, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Yesterday I went fishing, and I'm on his fishing pier out in Grand Island. I meet this guy, and he had gotten in an automobile wreck, and he's got a hip replacement, and his knee shot, and his one whole side of his body's not functioning right. And this poor guy was in some serious pain, and actually he was packing up to leave because he couldn't take it anymore. And so the spirit within, you know, it's like, okay, you know, I kind of was struggling with it a little bit, you know, because I don't know why. I mean, maybe because, you know, they got all these tough fishermen guys all around, because they had a lot of people out, you know. So I just like, man, it's like,
Jesus wouldn't know anything about fishing.
right. So I'm just like, well, man, am I going to just let this guy walk off without saying nothing, you know? It's like, I wasn't getting under condemnation, and, you know, I just like, no, man. So I just started talking to him, and next thing you know, I prayed for him, and the dude gets healed, and he's walking around, and he's like, kind of almost running around, trying to make the pain come back. You know what I mean? He couldn't believe it. And so that was just amazing to me, because we both had in the same week a hip. Was it the right side? Was it the right side?
It was her right side.
So it was with this guy too.
Yeah.
Wow, what a trip, you know. Anyway, man, that's pretty powerful. But anyway, so even if I wouldn't have prayed for the guy, I mean, God was there on the pier because I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, that's the only way we're going to really like release that is to stay aware of that kind of stuff. That, okay, yeah, I went fishing. Yeah, I'd like to fish. I'm going there to have a good time. But really, ultimately, this was all in God's plan already. Maybe I just planned it a couple of days before, but in the scheme of eternity, this was already set in stone. Like, this was going to happen, right? So it's like, you know, just having that awareness, I realized, you know, I'm not just meeting this guy just because 2 days ago I decided to go fishing here. This is something God set up, you know. And I like having that kind of mentality and that awareness going on, you know, because the availability is there all the time to release the love. No matter where you go, it's there all the time. And, you know, and I hadn't really flowed like that in a while, because, I mean, most of the time we home. We don't really go out like we used to, you know. So it was like, that experience just really sparked me up again. And then I realized that joy, you know, when you being moved by God, you know, it's His joy. It's His joy to heal His people. It's His joy to take care of His creation. It's His joy when He's joyful when we walk in love. There's a scripture in Second John. It says it's all joy that when we walk in love, you know, and you get to experience that joy. You know what I mean? It's incredible.
Well, He loves to express Himself through everybody, His body, right? Yeah. And so that you know, you try to put words on it, but feeling wise, you feel His joy.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Loving humanity, loving creation.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Amen. All right, back on page 33. All right, so true authority never coerces. It invites. It heals. It restores. It creates space for life to emerge. This is why authority divorced from love becomes abuse, but authority rooted in love becomes freedom.
So good.
Yeah. Now, Jesus never demanded submission. He revealed truth and people followed. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Authority is recognized by those who are ready to be free. So sons carry authority. So the early church did not grow through hierarchy. It expanded through family. Apostles were not executives. Elders were not rulers. Shepherds were not controllers. They were relational anchors, not institutional managers. So authority flowed horizontally because life flowed freely. So when believers recognize that authority flows from identity, fear leaves. Comparison ends. Competition dissolves. The Spirit moves unhindered because no one is trying to prove anything. You know, I mean, and I'm reading that and I'm thinking about what happened on the pier. It was like, you know, when I took thought of who I was and who I am, not was, but who I am, everything shifted in my awareness and my thinking. Everything shifted. Now, yeah, I'm enjoying going fishing, but everything shifted now to the sky. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was amazing how that happened. You know what I mean? Because you can block that out and stay focused on the worldly stuff.
Well, it's almost as if everything stands still.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's amazing when you try to put words to it or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love where it says, Jesus never demanded submission. He revealed truth and people followed. And I just think, because, right, what's the name of this class? It's flowing in the Spirit. I remember I was at this church once. I didn't have the identity, but you know, I was recognizing the flow of God moving in me and through me as early part of my walk. I don't know what terminology to do. Some people say baby Christian, whatever. I didn't grow up in the church, but I just recognized it early, but I didn't know names or understand it necessarily, but I knew things were moving, you know. And I remember being at this church. We went to some church. They had some meeting going on, some special guy from out of town, whatever. And I was so hungry for God, I would go to anything I saw, any meeting, anywhere. I would go. Right. You know, I didn't, roots I didn't understand. I didn't understand fellowshipping with a certain body or whatever. I just wanted more Jesus, right? That's just my mind mentality at that time. And I remember going to this church, and this guy was up there speaking. They just got finished worshiping, and this was the time I was used to. I was probably only in church about a year at this point in time, but right away the Lord made himself real to me. I was baptized in the Holy Spirit, and so and the guy's talking, but he's not talking about giving yet. He's just sharing about something. I couldn't even tell you what it was. And back then we had beepers. I had this brand new beeper I just bought, and I was paying on it monthly for a year. I had a yearly contract. So I was paying, you know, I bought it, but then you pay whatever, usage, whatever it was, you know. And I just had this impression to put my beeper in the giving offering little envelope.
Really?
And I was so strong, and I was with somebody, and I said, I just feel to give this beeper. They said, well, what do you, the church doesn't need the beeper. I said, I know, and I need it for work. I need it, you know. And I said, and it's brand new. You know, my intellect, right. But I couldn't tell you what they said, but I couldn't stop. The compelling to give this beeper wouldn't stop. You know, it was driving me nuts. You know, and it wasn't by being persuaded by authority up on the podium. Nothing was moving up there. You know, eventually, and I was embarrassed. And I couldn't tell you all the feelings, because number one, I didn't want to give up that beeper. I just got it. And then I knew I'd have to go out and get another one, you know, and while I'm paying for this one that somebody has, you know, because once you give it, you don't know. I want to know where my beeper is 24/7, you know. So it came around, and I put my beeper in there. No, what happened was they didn't, whatever, how they normally do it, they left a basket up there, and they said, if you feel led to give something by the Lord, from the Lord, come up and give it, you know, doesn't make a difference if you belong to this body or not, whatever they said. I went up there with my beeper like this, I just dropped it in there. And I went to sit back down, you know, and next thing I know, the pastor of the church is on his knees crying loud. I mean, just like tears, and like a child crying. You know, and the speaker went up to him and says, why are you crying? And he says, I can't play music. He says, but I have this collector's electric guitar that I've always cherished. And the Lord is telling me to give it in the offering. And he says, and he won't stop compelling me to give it. He went and got that, and when he went and got that, the whole church was crying, giving all kind of not typical money. One person took off their brand new shoes. I mean, it's just the weirdest things, you know. And it was just the weirdest movement, but it was bringing a freedom, breaking things off of people, whatever God was doing. I'm not even going to try to put exact words to everything he was doing, but it brought a freedom that had nothing to do with man's intellect or a special speech. And that's a form of authority, but it was a release in being moved by the Spirit that I just kind of remembered as you were speaking.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, I found out later because I asked the pastor.